Okay, welcome back. And indeed, our guest, Cynthia Mbamalu, Director of Programs at IAGA Africa, is still with us. But right now, we want to sort of go over to our senior reporter in the INEC, at the INEC headquarters in Akure, Ibrahim Alege. Good morning to you, Ibrahim.
Yes, okay. Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes, this is the INEC headquarters in Akure, the Ondo State capital, and everything is seems to be perfect right now because just yesterday the INEC distributed all the sensitive materials, and what we have right now is just to cross the T's and dot the I's. So for now we have security operatives in and around the INEC headquarters, and we expect that during elections you have deployment of security operatives around the INEC headquarters and of course around the state. And just like what we have today, I'm sure that by tomorrow we're still going to have more than that till Sunday, because this is where there's going to be the beehive of activity by Sunday evening, and of course till the early morning on Saturday, Saturday evening and early morning on Sunday. But for now, everything seems to be perfect. Just have one or two persons coming in for their final accreditation. Everything is fine now. Security operatives, you've seen them around here, and of course within the environment as well. Talking a bit about the statistics about this particular election, over 2 million people actually registered, but only 1.75 million collected their PVC, representing 86% collection of permanent voter cards. So we expect that this should translate in the actual election tomorrow, that is the turnout of voters. Just like as you are speaking with IAGA Africa, just like what they said yesterday, that they expect people to come out, but as the election, what we've seen in the Nigerian election up to now, that the turnout of people for election have always been low. So we expect that with publicity, with advocacy, we expect that people should be able to come out tomorrow for the election. But tomorrow is not far off. It's just some hours, to the election. So we'll go to the field and see what happens tomorrow.
I can see where, the pictures that we're playing, in fact, where you are situated, I can see security presence. I see police. And, the police, we've spoken with the police as well in the course of the lead up to this election. They are taking this as seriously as you would expect them to. In fact, I dared to suggest that was it not overkill, considering the number of police units that we had been told would be participating in the security exercise. Do you get that sense? Yes, I can see uniformed men all around you. Do you have an idea of how many different units? I think I saw evidence of a K9 unit, a bomb disposal unit. Tell us about what you can about the police operations.
Yes, this is expected because this is an off-cycle election, so the concentration is actually, on Akure right now. If you are to be a general election, of course, everybody will man their own respective states. But of course, I've seen a police vehicle, even from Lagos, coming to Akure, to do the security job. I've seen the security officers around here, which I understand can do the work of 40 able-bodied policemen. And I've seen NSCDC with their security dog. In fact, the FRSC officials were also here at some point, and the military are equally here, all in an effort to ensure that we have a seamless election, come tomorrow in Ondo State. And this is a way of also reassuring the people of their security during the election, before and during the election, of course, after the election. So we have a lot of them, stationed around there, and I want to believe that apart from this particular location, in their different polling units, we're going to have different security operatives, talking about the police, the NSCDC, the military men, and of course some other paramilitary, operatives in all the polling units here in Ondo State.
You told us earlier that somewhere around 2 million, a little over 2 million registered voters, but only 1.75 million are thought to have picked up their voting cards. What sense do you have as to whether or not, because the word apathy has been mentioned as well by commentators as we're coming towards this election, of the 1.7 million, you expect a large percentage of that to at least show up for the exercise and not just stay at home and watch it on television? What's the sense you get about the enthusiasm of Ondo voters for this exercise?
Well, this has been the message that people have been carrying, the political party, the INEC, and of course civil society organization, as well as the media, in order for people to, come out en masse to, exercise their franchise, their right to vote for their, the candidate of their choice. And this is why the advocacy has been on, from different segments of the society. But we expect that people should be able to heed to this call so that we have enough people coming out tomorrow, so that when the result is declared tomorrow, you not say that this is not my candidate if you do not come out, to exercise your franchise. So the message has always been that people should come out to exercise their franchise, vote for the candidate of your choice, because he's going to be the one, to rule the state for the next 4 years. So it's your right to come out to cast your vote. So we expect that people should be able to heed this call. Yeah, tomorrow is not far off. It's just some hours away. So we'll be on the lookout to see what happens tomorrow.
Just before we go then, the other matter that's been brought up is that of money changing hands as a result of this election, both from a viewer has called in, Cynthia, the director of programs, has also expressed her concern about that. What sense do you get, you being on the ground there? Your observations?
Well, naturally, political parties will mobilize their supporters to campaign grounds, and of course, this comes in forms of money, providing vehicles, and of course, what to eat at campaign grounds.
See, when you
to
use
some
the word,
extent,
sorry,
some
Ibrahim,
people will see it as
you use the word naturally to start. I'm sorry, you use the word naturally to start. I mean, it's like it's a foregone conclusion that it doesn't matter what you preach. This is what our people will do. Is that what you're saying?
Of course. Well, from what I've seen so far, people would want to be mobilized, and you know what mobilization means. It means you should be able to take care of them when they come for campaigns, but it has to be with patriotism and, of course, the love of your candidates. Whether you are giving something or not, you're expected to, do what is expected of you. But as it is, people want something. Some want to get something out of whatever they can get from the candidates. But be that as it may, this is what so many civil society organizations are saying, that if we should continue to encourage this, even on election day, people will still want to buy votes or want to sell their conscience. So that's why the advocacy has been on, that in this election we've seen people collect between 2,000 and 5,000 naira, just to support their candidates. But on the election date, so they're asking the security operatives to be on the lookout, so that we don't have a cases of vote buying, during on the D-Day. So we expect that the ICPC, the EFCC, and of course the security operatives to be on the lookout for this.
Yeah, well, only God knows what's also going on the electronic transfer route. But thank you very much, Ibrahim Alege. I'm sure we'll keep in touch with you throughout the day. Okay, now back to studio here, and Cynthia Mbamalu, who is also joining us remotely, Director of Programs at IAGA. The other question I wanted your take on is, were there logistical difficulties in getting to far-flung riverine areas of Ondo State in terms of getting materials to them?
That was why I mentioned earlier, from Ondo 2020 elections, there were major issues around Elaje LGA, Ondo LGA. Those are riverine areas, and sometimes for some of them you do require the boats to move, and I know that there are times when you even have attempts by politicians to cause chaos. I can't remember if it was in Elaje or if it was even another state where all the boats were rented out. So even INEC was even stranded at some point. But I want to believe that that plan has been done for these elections. In our press conference yesterday, we have called on INEC to ensure that those locations, the riverine areas especially, that require special planning, that those issues are addressed before tomorrow, so that we don't have a repeat of some of the findings we had in the last governorship elections in this state. So at the moment, we're observing to see how well INEC deploys to those locations. because normally how you can assess if elections will begin early is successive deployment to the racks and the availability of means of transportation for officials and security on elections day from the racks to the polling unit. So those are one of our major worries, but I want to believe that INEC has better plans this time around. We're hoping, so tomorrow we'll have a better sense on what has happened. Beyond that, there are also some hard to reach areas that would also require special movement, transportation movement. And so I want to believe that INEC has done this assessment in those locations and has a better plan for that. We're not INEC. All we can do is to keep calling on INEC, drawing their attention to the locations we saw major issues in the last elections, and hoping that they are listening to stakeholders, raising those issues, and are making plans ahead of time.
Okay.
But I want to also mention issues around disability, because I think that is one of the things we've seen. I was talking with a voter with disability, and he mentioned that sometimes the way they set up the polling unit, he has to come down from his wheelchair and crawl to get up to where he can cast his vote. And I think for these elections, INEC can do better, because the Electoral Act makes it mandatory now for issues of access and providing assistive materials for persons with disability. And so what INEC ought to do is, for the setup, is not raining season anymore. And so for the setup, and to train their staff that they set up on plain surfaces, not where you need to climb stairs, so that our citizens with disability can easily access those locations and vote. And that those materials that track disability, like the form EC40H, what the document is supposed to do is to document disability, so that for the next election, INEC can plan better, that those forms are made available to capture the disability data, and that they provide magnifying glasses, which has been procured. Sometimes the officials forget to bring it out. Voters with albinism need magnifying glasses to understand, to see better, and then Braille ballot guide for voters with visual impairment. I think those are the logistics issue most times we forget. And as a people, we need to be more sensitive to our citizens with disability. They also have equal rights, like every one of us, to cast their vote without any major challenge or disadvantage.
One moment, please, while we take Mazi Okoroafo's call, calling in from Arochukwu. Okay. Good morning, Mazi. Mazi, good morning.
I'm calling on our youth. We should not allow anybody to use them as a weapon of mass destruction tomorrow. This is their call to decide what they want within 4 years. If they decide to trade the weapon, and this issue of voters apart, everybody will say they are concluded elections. Don't say that they are concluded elections. Come out and vote tomorrow. It is your own conscience. If you sit down and say they are finished voting, they are finished their election, that is another perception which is very, very bad for many Nigerians, what they are doing.
Okay.
When the election day comes, people go and see that.
All right.
You're watching television, or some sit down and be playing balls, or sit down and be sleeping. It concerns you. Because although it's your state, your local government, you have to improve. You have to generally, both educationally, economically, security-wise, name them. If you sit down and say they are finished the vote, you are replacing more problem for yourself, for your children for 4 years, and for yourself as a
all right, Mazi, thank you very much, Mazi. I appreciate your call, Mazi. Thank you very much. A word of advice, especially for the youth there, to consider carefully their line of action from Mazi Okorafo there. Thank you very much. Okay, I think we lost. Okay, maybe, and well, finally, you know, Cynthia, it's been a positive report that we're getting from Yaga Africa, all things considered, and especially the concern, as was, you know, voiced by the gentleman who called in from Warri, Mr. Afere, that civil society groups tend to not be there, but listen to reports of others. You've said that that is far from being the case. You know, you've sort of sorted that out.
Yes. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. It was good that you addressed that, that the question came up and you addressed it, that you do have your own methodologies. And you spoke about the statistical method, that whatever results that is coming in, if it is genuine, it is going to be within a narrow tolerance. It is only when it is outside of those tolerances that you will know that perhaps a few more questions need to be asked.
Yes, yes, yes.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much. I want to appreciate you, Cynthia Mbamalu, Director of Programs at Yiaga Africa, for making time for us this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me also.
All right, then.
And all the best to Ondo.
Indeed,
tomorrow.
all the best to Ondo in this election.
Yes.
Okay. We will speak with our correspondent, and we have a whole team in there, so it's all about Ondo State and Akure and its environs. Sarah Ayeku is on the line to us. She's at the police command headquarters, I believe. Good morning, Sarah. Okay, Sarah will be with us very, very shortly. She's actually on the line. Sarah, can you hear us? Good morning, Sarah. We're ready for you. Can you hear us? Sarah is at police command, therefore will be able to tell us a bit more about the level of preparations, especially from the point of view of security. We've been looking at the all the logistical issues, and those seem to be very well in hand. Those seem to be very much in hand. Now, Sarah, our correspondent in Akure, at the police command, I believe, headquarters. Good morning, Sarah. Okay, I was guessing as to your location. Where exactly are you? We do seem to have a challenge hearing Sarah. Clearly she can hear us. She flashed us that beautiful smile, and that would seem to indicate that there's not too much to be concerned about as far as the planned organization. Sarah, can you hear us? Okay, you please have to start again if you can hear us now, because there was a... So go ahead, please.
All right, technology will always have its way with some of this broadcasting equipment, and so it's fine. So I'm at the police headquarters in Akure, where any moment from now, the force PRO, that's Olumuyiwa Adejobi, will be briefing newsmen about the latest developments as pertains to security ahead of Saturday's election. So already they said that they've deployed strategically, that was the word they used, that they've deployed strategically, they've done a strategic deployment of special squad different units from the police force to the 18 local government areas. So this briefing, of course, we'll be hearing any moment from now. You can see that the newsmen are prepping up to hear him speak with us. He had said that his speech is ready. He's just waiting for the clock, that's 12 noon, to start the briefing. And so around the police headquarters, we've seen massive deployment that they've deployed more than 6,000 men from their side. That's from 10 states around Ondo State. For the police, they said that the number is very significant. Even the army is even silent about the number they've deployed for this election. The army is saying that the number they've deployed is very significant. And so we're expecting to see massive deployment of security personnel, both at the borders of Ondo State, that's bordering towns of Ondo State, and within town and in the 18 local government areas. When we asked the DIG in charge of this election, that's DIG Sylvester Abiodun Alabi, about flashpoints for this election, he had said that we should not concern ourselves about flashpoint. They've done comprehensive threat analysis for this election. They know the flashpoints, but they are assuring that with the number of men, security personnel deployed for this election, Ondo State residents can go to sleep, of course, come out and vote, reassured that the security personnel have got their back.
And that's a reassuring note. That's the note on which we're going to have to leave it. Thank you very much, Sarah Ayeku. I'm sure you and the rest of the team will be hearing from you continuously throughout the day, right up until tomorrow. Thank you very much, Sarah. Okay, as I said, that we're going to have to leave it there for now. That's our program. Do please join us on Monday for a fresh edition. Continuation of Akure, the Ondo election will be over the weekend, so TVC has you covered there. Bye-bye for now.